Hey there. It's Good Friday, and we're going to do some study around the crucifixion today. Okay, it's generally accepted that he was crucified on Friday, but that really can't be the case, right? I've done some research, and it was probably Thursday, okay? Because on Passover, okay, during the years of Passover, there are two Sabbaths, okay? This Friday is a Sabbath when they have the Passover, and then this regular Sabbath on Saturday. So Jesus probably had the Last Supper on Wednesday. He was probably arrested Wednesday night and crucified on Thursday the next day. So he would have been in there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, 3 nights, right? Right? 2 days and resurrected on Sunday, the third day. Okay? All right. So, but anyways, it's just a sign up. So we're going to start at Isaiah 53. Okay? And let's pause. And this is a famous part of Isaiah. Just for a point of reference, the Jews of today, they don't read as Isaiah 53, okay? They took it out of their scriptures, right? They are still denying. So, who has believed what he has heard from us? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant. That's Jesus, right? And like a root out of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief, and as one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Right. Right. Okay. And you can jump over to John 10 and 1, 10 and 11, right? He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to his own people, and his own people did not receive him. Yeah. Kind of back and forth, right? You like him. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. Right? But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace. And with his wounds we are healed, or by his wounds, or by his stripes, right? Right? Famous verse 53:5. All we have like sheep have gone astray, and we have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth, right? He never said anything. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before it shears is silent, so he opened not his mouth. By oppression, judgment he was taken away. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off out of the hand of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people? And they made his grave of the wicked with a rich man in his death. Okay? Okay, with the wicked, with a rich man. Okay, we know he was, right? He was Joseph of Arimathea, right? He gave his tomb, a rich man, for Jesus to be laid in it, right? Although he had done no violence and there was no deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him. He has put him to grief. When his soul makes an offering for guilt, he shall see his offspring. He shall prolong his days, and the will of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Out of the anguish of his soul he shall see and be satisfied. By his knowledge shall the righteous one, my servant, make many to be accounted righteous, and he shall bear their iniquities. Okay? And this is probably, 500 to 1,000 years before Jesus was even born. Okay? Therefore I will divide my portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he bore the sin of many and makes intercession for the transgressors. There you go. Okay. That's interesting. Zechariah 9, verse 9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem, behold, your king is coming to you, righteous and having salvation is he, humble and mounted on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. Right? Remember last week, Palm Sunday? Or Jesus, right? On a donkey. Okay. And that would be in John 12. We'll just jump there just for kicks, right? All right. 12 through 15. Okay. Alexei, a large crowd heard Jesus coming to Jerusalem, so they took branches of palm trees and meet out, crying out, Hosanna. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, even the King of Israel. And Jesus was found a young donkey and sat on it, just as it is written, Fear not, daughter of Zion, behold, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt. Okay. There you go. I have notes here. Okay. Yeah, I did that one. Okay, so see, my notes are right here. Okay. You should know. Now, the Passover meal is always lamb. Okay. Jesus did not eat the Passover. They had bread and wine. Okay. There was no lamb at the Last Supper because it was prepared the next day, right? The Levitical priest would have slaughtered the lamb and prepared it for a Passover on a Thursday, so it could be eaten on the Passover, Friday, Sabbath 1, Saturday, Sabbath 2. Okay. So let's jump over to Mark 27. Okay. Matthew 27. Okay. Okay. Judas hangs himself, Jesus before Pilate, right? The crowd chooses Barabbas. Okay. And we know that Pilate wanted to release him. He couldn't find any fault in him, didn't do anything wrong. But the people screamed for Barabbas because they wanted him to be hanged, okay? The Pharisees had been plotting his death for years, okay? And they wanted him killed at any cost, right? So when Pilate saw that he was gaining nothing, but rather a riot was beginning, he took water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves. And then all the people answered, His blood be on us and on our children. Then he released him for them Barabbas, and having scourged Jesus, delivered him to be crucified. Right? Jesus is mocked. The soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the governor's headquarters, and they gathered the whole battalion before him, and they stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and put a reed in his right hand, and kneeling before him, they mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! And they spit on him, and took a reed, and struck him on the head. When they had mocked him, they stripped him of the robe, put his own clothes on him, and led him away to crucify him. Okay, crucifixion. Right? And they went out. They found a man of Syene, Simon by name. They compelled this man to carry his cross. That's because Jesus was beaten so badly, his back was ripped open. You could see his ribs and his spine. He was not able to carry it, so they had someone carry it for him. Right? And the came to a place called Golgotha, which means place of the skull. They offered him wine to drink mixed with gall, but when he tasted it, he could not drink it. And when they had crucified him, they divided his garments among them by casting lots. That's highlighted. Remember that. Then they sat down and kept watch over him there, and over his head they put a charge against him, which read, This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. The King of Kings, right? Sure, I was crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left, and those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads and saying, You would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Save yourself if you are the Son of God. Come down from the cross. So also the chief priests with the scribes and elders mocked him, saying, He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is a king of Israel. Let him come down from the cross, and we will believe him. Mm-hmm. No, you won't. He trusts in God. Let God deliver him now if he desires him. For he said, I am the Son of God. And the robbers who were crucified with him also reviled him in the same way. The death of Jesus, right? Now from the 6th hour, there was darkness all over the land. Okay, that's about noon, okay? And it got dark. I mean, you think these kind of things would have made them think, you know what, maybe we're messing up here, right? Until the 9th hour, or 3 hours. Right? And it's been proven through tests that there was no eclipses at this time. Okay, it just got dark. Right. And about the ninth hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? And some bystanders hearing said, the man is calling Elijah. And one of them at once ran and took a sponge filled with sour wine and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. But others said, wait, let's see whether Elijah will come to save him. And Jesus cried out again with a loud voice and yielded up his spirit, and he was died. Now, my God, why have thou forsaken me? All right, divided his garments. Okay, we are going to go over here, and we are going to go to. And this wasn't out for a long time. People didn't realize it, but it's starting to get real popular now. That what, you know, that he wasn't actually, right, saying, my God, why have thou forsaken me? He was pointing people to Psalm 22, right, written by David 1,000 years, at least before he was around. The first line, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night I find no rest. Yet you are holy, enthroned on the praises of Israel. In you our fathers trusted. They trusted, and you delivered them. To you that cried out and were rescued. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. But I'm a worm and not a man, right? Scorned by mankind and despised by the people. All who see me mock me. Okay, what did Isaiah say? Right? He came to his own, and his own knew him not. Right? He was despised and rejected. Right? All who see me mock me. They make mouths at me, and they wag their heads. He trusts in the Lord. Let him deliver him. Let him rescue him, for he delights in him. Right? What did we just read over there, Matthew? All right? Yet you are he who took me from the womb and made me trust in you in your mother's breast, and you cast my birth. And saying there's other stuff in here. Right? Be not far from me. Many bulls encompass me, strong bulls and Bashans surround me. I'm poured out like water. All my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted within my breast. My strength is dried up and like a potsherd. My tongue sticks to my jaws. You lay me in the dust of death, for the dogs encompass me. The company of evildoers encircle me. They have pierced my hands and feet. 1,000 years before. And when this was written, there was no such thing as crucifixion. Okay, that's something the Romans brought in. Okay, I can count all of my bones. They stare and gloat over me. They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. For kingship, 28, for kingship belongs to the Lord, and he rules over the nations. Posterity shall serve him. It shall be told of the Lord to the coming generation. They shall come and proclaim his righteousness to a people yet unborn, that he has done it. Right? That's what they're doing. Good stuff. Right? Good stuff. And there was something in Psalm 16, just one line, right? 16, verse 10. For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, or let your Holy One see corruption. Okay, that means, right? He won't die. He didn't die. He didn't decay. Good stuff, huh? And there's some other stuff in like Mark 15. Kind of Mark's version of it, right? Jesus is mocked. Crucifixion. There it is again. My God, why have you forsaken me? Quoting Psalm 22. Right? Cool stuff, huh? Cool stuff. So, just a brief, overlook. What happened, when it happened, okay? Just starting some new stuff. We finished our 92-day read through the entire New Testament yesterday. So today we're talking about the crucifixion, right? And in the coming days, we will talk about the resurrection, the greatest miracle that ever happened in the history of the world, right? So there you go. Have a good day. Remember what you're celebrating, right? and we'll do it again tomorrow. See ya.